And then there were 12. Welcome back down pit row, everybody. We got a lot of racing to talk to, so we might as well just get right into it. Very quickly before we get into all that, where can you find us? www.tigerbombsae.com. That is the home of the Pit Row podcast. You can actually click on the Pit Row page on that tigerbombsae.com website, and you can watch Pit Row there. You can listen to Pit Row there if you want to do that. Guys, you can also catch us on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just search for Tiger Bomb Sports Audio Entertainment. We'll come up. You can like and subscribe, follow, whatever. Same sort of deal for Twitter, Facebook, all that. You just want to search for Tiger Bomb Sports Audio Entertainment, and boom, you'll be connected to us. All right. Last week, we had a pretty fun day on the DFS world. Didn't bet a lot because my whole thing is, well, we do DFS betting for other sports that we're better at. Baseball, football, period, right? The whole point of this podcast is let's learn some racing. Let's learn some NASCAR, Sprint Cup Series. Let's get better. Let's track the action. But ultimately, let's put all this to use for DraftKings purposes, for example. So, when we think about that perspective, last week, very successful. Didn't bet a ton of money, but we come back with more than what we bet, which is always what you want to do. And if I'm just looking at the winnings from last week, I just want to, we almost take down this contest has a couple. What is it? I want to find out exactly how many people are in this contest. Let's see. Because you come in, let's say place 28, right? And there's 500 people. That's pretty good. That's called cashing in the tournament. So I think that is ultimately what you want to keep doing. It's just finding ways to win, right? And so we had a lineup that cashed in with 276 points. And that's with Kyle Larson getting the DFS. Sorry, DNF, did not finish. Everything else in this lineup was Byron, Chastain, Suarez, Briscoe, LaJoie. So that was good enough to cash. We want to look and do the same thing this week, guys, is where can we find value and we can cash. So let's take a look at the race we did that off of. The Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400 at Texas Speedway. Hot race, hot-ass race, y'all. Let's go green, though. Bubba Wallace takes the pole. This is the hottest race ever at Texas. Boucher's second, Brad Kay, and then Ty Gibbs will be up front with them. So at the start of it, Wallace and Boucher battling until Wallace finally clears them. Lap 6, and the early order is Wallace, Boucher, Brad Kay, Chastain, Gibbs, Allmendinger, Busch, Suarez, Bell, Larson now. So lap 40, we get green flag pit stops at this point. And right as that begins to start, we get a caution. The 3 is hit hard. Right rear tire loose for Austin Dillon, and he just lost the whole wheel, and that separated from the car even. This was turns 3 and 4. Truex sees and moves out of the way to avoid. So that's lap 44. Cars pitting now will lose position to the cars that pitted already, basically. So we go green again. Chastain up top, Bubba down low. Caution. Almirola is spun around right away. Bowman also. The low line is very slick at this point in the race. And so we go green again, almost 3 wide up top. That was a crazy force. Kyle Busch forced the issue down low. So we had the bottom lane and the top lane, and Kyle darts down to the apron to force it 3 wide up top in the front. He has to fold back in now. He lost a couple spots doing all that. Oh, the 41 spins this time, and so we get another caution, another wheel off. Gilliland is in the 51 this week. Excuse me, the 51 spins, not the 41. And Gilliland's in that ride this week. Zane Smith driving Gilliland's usual ride. But Gilliland and Dillon now both out for the same thing, just tires completely off the car. So we go green again, and Chastain and Wallace up front. Wallace clears Chastain. Larson working to clear Hamlin for third, and then Kyle Busch is with them. Larson moving around Hamlin. The 8 looks for real estate up top. Oh, he's waving people around. Beginning of the starts of the problem for Kyle Busch on this day. He's got a flat. Maybe he doesn't. He's got a flat. Maybe he doesn't. He seems okay. He thought the right front was going down, so he loses some spots, waving guys around. Now he isn't sure. They make the decision. Why don't you try to wait it out? Also to note, it's, again, this heat, it's like 102 degrees in the car. I'm starting to think some of the mistakes that we're seeing early on maybe have to do with this heat, not even just from the driver from the pits. But anyways, the order at this point is Wallace, Chastain, Boucher, Larson, Hamlin, Reddick, Busch, Byron, Brad K, and Jones. 16 to go on the stage. The 8 still acting funky when he gets up top too high. Not so much middle or down low. When he gets way up top, he's a little funky. And he spins out and up into the wall with 7 laps to go on the stage. I'm talking ton of damage. Both RCR cars now with issues. Busch will back it up along the apron all the way around. Heavy visible damage. They got 7 minutes to see if they can get it serviceable. Most of the field comes to pit at this point. Blaney does stay out, though, incidentally. So, we're in the middle of taking care of that when the big yikes. We get the 11 running into the 11 ran into the 54 on pit road. Ty Gibbs. So Gibbs was crowding Denny, and he paid for it. Nowhere else to go. Nothing. Not that you see that a lot. Big wreck on pit road, and the 11. It's got door damage. Blaney is the last car that did not put on tires. So he's 8th. Everyone behind him's on fresh tires. That's a dangerous scenario to be in, as the announcers and as the team up top mentioned quite a few times. Hamlin, upset about the collision. They'll have to work on that door later. They decide, let's just get the car back out there as quickly as possible. Gibbs done behind the wall at this point. So restart now with 1 to go in the stage, and Reddick out front. Bell pushing him. Boucher hoping to clear Bell for second, just gets it. So Reddick stays out, and it proves valuable. He gets the stage points. We get a caution right away. The 19 hit hard. Someone checked up. 43 hits the 6, and the 6 hits the 19. Not sure why they get throttled. It was the end of the stage, and you got guys barreling forward. So, incidental caution there. Bell and Byron will now pit. But Byron Reddick stays out at stage break, even though he stayed out at the end of last stage. So Reddick refusing to bring it in. Boucher also stayed out. Now, they're playing with the top timings, and this could work or it could backfire. You won't really know until later in the race. But Kyle Busch, we know at this point, is done for the day, done for his day in that number 8 Chevy. So stage 2 now, Reddick and Boucher up front to start. McDowell with the big push to Reddick. Old tires, less fuel. Reddick still way out front, though. 2.5 gap between Reddick and McDowell. Reddick wants to go another 20-25 laps if he can at this point before the pit. Now we get a caution. Corey LaJoie spins. The 55 to go in the stage. The 7 hit the wall. Everybody probably does come pit now. This changes things a little bit. So we go green again now with 47 to go in stage 2. Wallace and Blaney out front, followed by Brad K, Hamlin, Suarez, Larson, Hocevar, Elliott, Truex, and Boucher. Now Larson able to take over Hamlin, and Eric Jones and Blaney hanging around too. So 6 to go in the stage 2. Order is Larson, Eric Jones now, Hamlin, Blaney, Boucher, Elliott, Wallace, Brad K, Chastain, and Suarez. So Trackhouse hanging in there, and Larson takes stage 2. Valuable stage points there for the 5. And so we get our restart for stage 3. Larson trying to clear Jones. Hamlin is behind those two. Chastain has problems with the throttle sensor. Has to pit there. That's bad for him. 59 to go now in the stage. And Tyler Reddick begins the green flag pits. Suarez swung around. The caution is out. And Reddick goes a lap down with that pit stop. Bad break for him because he was already starting the pit. So if he just waited like a couple of seconds, he could have went with everybody, but he goes a lap down. Larson barely beats Jones off pit road, barely. And so we go green with Larson in the lead. Larson clears Jones, then Brad K, Hamlin, Wallace, Boucher, Briscoe, Byron, and Elliott behind them now. However, we see Hocevar kisses the wall a bit, but he finds it. That'll slow him up so Blaney can catch him in the 12. Byron and Boucher racing hard for 6 and 7. We got 41 to go in this race now. Larson still leading, closing in on most laps led on the day over Bubba Wallace. Both have been good today. And J.J. Yelly gets spun around at this point, and that will bring the caution out yet again. Now, only he's involved. 24 to go with this one. What to do with the option to pit? As we've seen today, the lead cars can be okay with old tires up front. Let's see who stays out and who takes the chance to come in for tires. You take 4, you take 2. How do you do? How do you do today? So Larson stays out. Jones, Brad K, among those coming down the pit road. Hamlin coming. Boucher and Hamlin take right sides. About a dozen cars stay out altogether, so those folks will be up front. Now, Larson and Wallace up front. Wallace outside, and we're green. They're door to door through 2 and 3. Bubba is not backing down. This is good, clean, hard racing right now. The 5 goes around, slid into clutch and goes around. Wallace lifted so he wouldn't get taken out with the 5. And wow, the 23 looking tough, racing tough on the front outside. The 5 looked crunched and hurt after this one. Bubba did exactly what he needed to do. Larson's back end just came around because there's so little grip down there on the inside. The 23 got up the track, maybe, past Bubba, who had slowed up considerably. So at this point, it's like, are they going to give him the first position? But NASCAR says the 23 is the leader. I'm sorry, they say Bubba's the leader. Not Reddick, excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting those two mixed up. Larson's team just chopping body up now at this point, trying to get him back out there, get the car back out there. 17 to go in the race. Bubba Wallace will need to be aggressive again here. So with the choose, Bubba chooses outside. Predictably, he's running well there, and he gets and he was good there last green. So Byron and his crew are tough here, and they are hanging around. This will not be an easy pass for Bubba. So we go green now. 14 to go. Bad start for Byron. Wallace is clear and up the track, but a caution, a bunch of cars. The 12, the 38 of Zane Smith, Almendinger in the 16, Truex to some degree now. Blaney looks done. Eric Jones done. The 16 is wrecked also. He's done. AJ climbs out. The 45 got into the wall. Reddick, the 43 also. From before Larson is behind the wall also now. So he's done from before. Mayhem at the end here, man. So we'll have just 7 to go now. Wallace and Briscoe up front. Wallace outside. Briscoe is tough. Byron on the inside now. Byron down low. He clears Wallace. Byron with 5 laps to go now. Wallace is blocked. Here comes Chastain. It's Byron, Chastain, Wallace. Wallace nearly a second back. Hamlin slides back by Harvick. He slides past Harvick into 7th. 3 to go. Byron's flying. Bub is trying to close the gap on Chastain, but Reddick is there. Reddick and Wallace side by side for 3rd. Wallace slides by to 3rd. William Byron is cruising last lap now. And Byron is collecting his 6th win of the year. Securing a spot in the round of 8 is William Byron with number 300 win for Hendrick Motorsports. Also, big day for the Hendrick Motorsport crew. Big into the race. They're used to running well here. Byron has won here before. His guy in the box has won here before. His pit crew chief has won here before. They won together in trucks here before. They know how to play this track. And Bubba went as well as he could, but he got outclassed in the end, to be honest. He was so good on those last couple of laps, but Byron was king on that day. So that's how things shook up in Texas. Tough day for Larson and, Kyle Busch, that bunch of guys. Now we got to look forward as we get ready to get out of here to the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega Super Speedway. We're going back to Talladega, Alabama, that is, for the 2.66 track length mile. This is the fastest, largest track, you guys. Cup Series purse here is going to be just over $8.8 million. Race distance, 188 laps. We'll go 500 miles. Stage breaks at 60, 120, and 188 at the end. Defending winner from the fall of 2022 will be Chase Elliott in this race, ladies and gentlemen. So Goodyear brings the same tire used at the Super Speedway races in the Next Gen Cup era, period. So Cup team's going to be getting 1 set for qualifying and an additional 6 sets of tires for Sunday's race. Now, a couple things we need to note about Talladega here so we can set another great lineup. 7 different drivers have won the last 7 Cup races at Talladega, with 6 different teams accounting for those victories. So there's a lot of parity. 6 of the last 7 races at Talladega have ended with a last lap pass for the win. So we should see some fireworks at the end. And the last 4 Talladega winners, not wieners. The last 4 Talladega winners all started from 16th place or worse. So can we see another day where somebody is able to move themselves sufficiently up through the pack all day, work hard at it, and pull it off in the end with the last-minute pass? That sounds tantalizing. That sounds exciting. I can't wait to see it. The final green flag stretch was 2 laps or less in 9 of the last 10 Talladega races. So we could see some OT perhaps, something like that. Some drivers we really want to be thinking about in our lineups. The boss, Brad K. Keselowski's only 8 points above the elimination line, so he needs the boogie. He has a good history at Talladega. This is really good for him, like opposite of somebody like, say, a Truex. In fact, Keselowski leads active drivers with 6 victories at Talladega. He hasn't won in the Cup Series since April 2021 at Talladega, so it's been a couple of years. But he's got 2 runner-up finishes here in 2023 coming off of those drafting style tracks this year. I'm sorry, not 2 runner-up finishes here, but 2 runner-up finishes this year off drafting tracks. So like Atlanta, Daytona. So they know how to run well here. We also want to talk about Chris Buescher, his teammate. Him and RFK. Buescher won the last drafting race in August at Daytona. And he has an average finish of 2.67 on super speedways this season. So, look, all that to say, he's been good on super speedways. He could actually add to his cushion above the elimination line. Bubba Wallace, somebody else we got to note. He's got a strong showing at Texas. We just talked about it. And he led a race high 111 laps and finished third. But he's real strong at drafting tracks, too. And he's had the fall win at Talladega in 2021. So, Bubba Wallace is coming to the right tracks for him at the right time. This can be another hot week for Bubba. I'm feeling the fire from Bubba. 3 past Dega winners currently sit below the elimination line with Wallace, Ryan Blaney, and Kyle Busch trying to work their way back above the cut. Those 3 should be key for us to play because they got a lot to race for. They are looking to overtake Larson, Christopher Bell, and Martin Truex. Those are the other guys on the other side of that line. They have scored just 1 top 5 finish each at Talladega since 2015. Those guys, Bell, Martin, and Bell, Truex, and Larson. So they're trying to hold off Busch, Blaney, and Wallace. But those guys have fared pretty well here, whereas Larson, Christopher Bell, and Truex have not, going all the way back to 2015. So they could easily see this flipped and be out instead of in. You always want to pay attention to Eric Almirola here. He's got 20-1 odds, actually, finishing third at Talladega in the regular season finale. Daytona, in the regular season finale. But it wasn't long ago that he had a streak of 8 straight top 10s at Talladega. That's right, 8 straight, including his 2018 win. So since then, he's gone 6 races without cracking the top 10. But he has seen success here in the past, which is lending itself to that 20-1 odds. And Chastain, he's yet to DNF in 9 starts at Talladega. So this could be another guy where we ride for points and just trying to get consistency for our fantasy lineup, with the guy that isn't going to really have issues there, we don't think. So those are the guys that I'm very interested in. Keselowski, Buescher, Wallace, Chastain, Kyle Busch, Blaney, Reddick. These are the people that I'm interested in. And of course, just because you're not a favorite or haven't done well before doesn't mean it can't be your day. We've seen with these super speedways what can happen. So anything can happen. But that's how it shakes up for me. Of course, as always, you do need to watch qualifying. Who jumps out as quickest, we can get an edge and we can set another lineup. You can even set and reserve a lineup without setting it. So you can do that now and then watch qualifying and then fill in something else that you saw. That is much better than changing lines at the last minute. You just change out your money that way. Poof. That's what we got, guys. That's what I got for you this week. Enjoy Dega. Enjoy the race. Enjoy all of Sunday. If you watch football, enjoy that too. We'll come right back here next week, talk about what we saw at Talladega. Peace.